So the 5 success hacks to being really good. The number 1 is if you had practice at 8, what time do you show up?
7:30.
7:30, 7:50, like early, right? Like you're not gonna be like, oh, it's 8:30. How many of you guys were on time to this meeting today? Raise your hand.
I was early.
You're early. You're early. Raise your hand if you're late. Raise your hand. Hi, own it. You were late. Nobody else was late? You were late. Own it. Like, what's your name?
Andrew.
Andrew. Cool. And I'm not even gonna ask like your tire was flat and your homework and your dog and like, just say, I was late. Cool. I'll try not to be late again. The fact you just raise your hand and say, I was late. Oh, that's great. The first one is, be a man of your word through your schedule. There's 3 things when it comes to schedule, okay, that I'm going to put. The first one is, A, is your training. Your training schedule is simple as this. You can't rely solely on these sales meetings to become like you notice how you did 10 hours of additional self-practice that were outside of team practice, right? Because you want to be great. So there's in-person training, which is your meetings. Impeccable with your meetings. Never miss a meeting. Can we all commit? That is, these meetings are like, you don't show up to practice, you don't play. Like it's almost like, this is where you guys become team camaraderie, you create competitiveness within each other, you become good in this. Then you have your in-person, or your self-training. Okay, so we're going to call this Green Roofing You. Have you guys got access to this yet?
Everybody should have access to the door-to-door website.
The DD website, the training videos, have you guys gotten logins to that?
Yep.
Raise your hand if you do not, because by the end of the day, we will make sure that you do. Still we're getting on your login, or just start watching? We need your login?
Yeah, these guys are brand new.
Yeah,
So.
login. Brand new. Okay. How many of you guys, if I pulled up, because I have all stats, I literally could look your name up right now, have spent time and energy watching those? Raise your hand high. 2. You get paid to be good at this job, and all the answers are in the plays. All the plays are right there in the videos, yet we don't even spend time watching. We're just thinking through osmosis, by being here, we're going to be great. Does that make sense? It's the number 1 quality. I have a podcast where I have over 220 episodes. I haven't missed a week in over 4 years. And guess what? I've found the common trait amongst the best door-to-door people in the world is they spend time off the door studying on their own. I've given you the library. I've literally given you the keys to the castle. I filmed the best people and get them in there and say, here's their plays. Go watch them. So the problem is, every time I ask that question, people are like, well, you know, I really should spend more time in there. And I'm like, you get paid to do this job. This is sport. You can be an amateur, you can be a pro. For the pros, guess what they're doing? These things. They're impeccable with their meetings. They spend a minimum of 20 minutes a day. So your homework is 20 minutes a day, and there's a tracker in the university that Russ is going to get a report every single week. And it's going to say, who spent 20 minutes a day in this? So he's your coach. That's your training platform. Say, did we or did we not do it?
I just had a question for Russ. How many hours of video are on the Green Roofing You?
A lot.
A lot?
Like I'm talking like 1,000.
I tried to watch all the videos before you guys, and like there's no way to get
it would
through
just
it.
keep getting more too. I just
Yeah.
filmed another roofing course, 2 new roofing courses literally this weekend in Orlando.
And they're up there.
They'll get edited and added another week. You know what I mean? So like it's just always getting, like it's something that, so the Brad Lee quote, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Brad Lee, he's like a sales trainer guy. He said, training isn't something you did, it's something you do. Does that make sense? So repetition is one of the keys to successful training.
Close it, man. Close the deal.
Not just like, hey, I watched those videos once. I should now know everything in the 1,000. Like, it's great. I watched it. I looked at his tone. I rewatched it. I wrote it down. I practiced it. And I rewatched it again. Then I got with Homeboy and I was like, did I do it right? So I just did a podcast with one of the top door knockers in the country in Orlando on Saturday. So Saturday morning with this guy, he's one of the best. And he's like 50 years old. He was in corporate sales. He was like suit and tie when he showed up to interview. He shows up to this team and he's like, these little young punks, they're going to suck. Gets his face kicked in for a week. So he finally was like, maybe I should watch the videos. So he's like, starts watching the videos, starts memorizing his pitch, gets with his wife. He's like, honey, like make sure I do it exactly, like word for word, memorize exactly what they do. Because it's monkey see, monkey do, copy paste. If this works for them, it'll work for me. If they could do it and they're stuck in there like these little punks and I'm this 50-year-old corporate sales, I got this background, I could do this. But he's getting his face kicked in for like a week. And he's like, this is not fun. He watches, memorizes it, and he goes and does it, and boom, all of a sudden starts to see a sale. Boom, all of a sudden starts to see another sale. And he's like, I think I figured it out. Say and do and be just like the best guys, and I could be a best guy. Right? This isn't like a new recipe, guys. You open up a recipe book. I want to cook like a great person, put the ingredients in just like how they did, put it in the oven just like how they did, and I'm a good cook. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, if we never read the recipe book, then we suck at cooking. I'm not good, you know what I mean? And then the third one, so you got training, meetings, self-development, and then in the field. So if Sean is going to take you in the field to train with you, you better treat that time like gold. If you're not there, notes, papers, cameras, like whatever that is, you better be like taking that time up for what it's worth. Because I guarantee you, Sean's not going to sit there and babysit you all day, every day. Like, he's going to go put in his own deals. You're going to be on your own at some times. Like, make sure to treat that time like gold. So, schedule is training with your meeting self. And then here's the second one is the doors. So, you make sure that you are impeccable with your time on the doors. It is so easy because everybody thinks that they're 1099. They can work when they want. This isn't Mary Kay, guys. This isn't like, well, when you ever on the side, you want to, this is a job. And if you showed up to a job and didn't work an 8-hour shift like other Americans in the world, what happens? You don't get paid, you get fired. This is like if your shift starts at 9 and you go till 6, that's when you work, right? But guess what happens in door-to-door? I don't feel like going out today. And then we don't. Or, I already got one today, I got a couple today, it's 5 o'clock, let's just call it a day. Okay, I made enough money today. And just dip. And guess what? We're not babysitters. We're not going to sit here and be like, wait, why'd you dip a couple hours early? Guess who that's hurting? Is it hurting anybody else but nothing but yourself. And guess what? You start to become habitual at that, it becomes 5, then 4:30, then 4, then 3. And you start whittling down the time on the doors, and I guarantee you that's the biggest killer to success. Is when you don't spend enough time to give yourself momentum, to give yourself enough looks, you won't sell. Fact. You think going out an hour a day is going to be a professional? No, guess what the good guys do? Like 9 to 9. Like the ballers, they're going like 12 hours, 10 hours on the doors, and they're going hard. They're like hard on the doors. 150, 200, 300 doors a day. Some people are like, well, I knock like 7. Good job. I go out and knock, I'm damn good. I go knock 7 doors, guess what's going to happen to me?
7 sales.
No! 7 no's. I guarantee you. I only talk to 7 people, you think I'm going to get one? Like, I'm not a wizard. I know it's a numbers game. I'm not like, where's the magic turf? God, help me out. Where are the homes that need it? Like, no, I'm going to get my face kicked in 7 times. And then everybody's like, wow, I was expecting Sam to be really good. It's like, well, you only gave me 7 shots. Does that make sense? If Michael Jordan missed more than he made, you know what I mean? If I don't take enough shots, I'm not going to score that much. Okay, so doors. And then the last one is, I said 3 things, right?
You said 5.
No, this is just for the schedule. Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
I only have 2, damn it. Let's just move on. Okay, so the first tip to be successful is your schedule. Second is training, which we talked about. So it's like you have to be putting in the time yourself off the doors to be successful on the doors, which we talked about being like 20 minutes a day, showing up to meetings, but now like actually become a student. So like have notes. My recommendation is not use the back of just a random piece of paper. Get yourself something like that you're like, no, but for now that works, right? Yeah. But like bring something that you can bring all the time to the meetings. Anytime there's a training, you're watching the videos, you're like, this is my sales Bible, that's my journal. Whether that's physical, digital, whatever that looks like for you, that it's always the same. Because like what most people end up doing is taking notes on that piece of paper, and then you're like, where's that paper end up? And you're, okay, good. Like, you know what I mean? Like for me, I'm like, I don't want notes scattered all over the place, so just get organized with your training so that you can reference back and it becomes like your playbooks, okay?